Wagwan, this is Dara here, and today we're going to be doing a trade review or a recap or whatever. This is the trade right here. This is V25. I took this trade 2 to 3 days ago, and I totally forgot. Today is Saturday. I just opened my MT5 to see the progress, and it's doing quite well. This is the trade right here. Let me push it up so you guys can see. It's totally running 2.6k in profit, although I already closed that one, so it should be around 2.8k in profit, and I'll be holding it till it hits further targets. But let's do a breakdown so you guys can see how I was able to come up with this sniper entry and the trade idea. All right, so let's move on to my trading view. Something I want to say, I don't know how to make these videos very short because I usually do take my time to explain things as a mentor. So if you have a short attention span, just scroll. But then again, let's go. So in case you've not watched my first video, please do well to watch it. In the first video, I spoke about the archery method, and that's basically what I used in catching this trade right here. So first thing first, we'll talk about the archery comprises of arrow three method, comprises of 1 range, 2 reaction, and 3 return. Now these 3 are the pillar of price action. So market structure, price action, whichever you want to call it, this is the pillar of it. These 3 are built on the pillar of price action. So everything I say right here is strictly just price action. Okay, so first thing first is understanding the market direction. So as you can see on V25, the market is pushing downwards. The market is pushing downwards right here. So we can see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on and so forth till this point right here. Now someone might ask, if this is considered as a lower high, why didn't I take a trade off this area? Why didn't I take a trade off this area? Right, the reason I didn't take a trade off that area is because the reaction point in that area has already been mitigated. Okay, so everything here has been mitigated. This right here, these 2 candles, this blue and the black candle, was mitigated by this high. This one is not a reaction point. This one right here was mitigated by this one. So you see, everything has been mitigated, and that simply means there is gonna be 0 volume around that area. So which means no much volume. And you guys know what happens when the market meets an area with less volume. It just goes through it, it just blows through it. So those would serve as probably liquidity inducement or whatever you want to call it. Okay, but that's just what happens when your reaction zones have been mitigated. Okay, so next on the line is the actual area that I used for the reaction point. So in every zone here, all of them has been used, particularly apart from this one. So this one right here was the one that I chose to be my reaction point. Is this black candle and this blue one together. So that's the reaction zone, and immediately the market got to the reaction point, I started looking for my entry. And for my entry, I already specified in the first video that I did on my page. Check my TikTok or my YouTube, that's where I post the videos, and then Instagram. I mentioned that I have 4 type of entries. So I have the type 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are the 4 type of entry, and these are different price structures depending these are different form of structures depending on what price shows me. And so immediately the market got into this zone. All right, I now scroll down to the lower time frame. I think I used the 15 minutes or so, and I went down to the lower time frame to start edging for looking for a trade setup. So my first trade permits me to delete this. You guys already know that it's here, so we can see the chart clearly. So what I used here was the type 4. I'm just going to explain it briefly, the concept of it. So on the type 4, what I'm expecting is a double sweep. So what I mean by that is, okay, so when the market came into the reaction point here, and it created a high and it also created a low, okay, and then the market went up and swept the high. If you look at it carefully, you see that it did not break through the high with the body, rather it swept it. And whenever the market sweeps a previous high or a previous low, in context, it goes and sweep the opposing side. So this was the opposing side, market swept to. So that makes it the double sweep, or the sweep of liquidity, or whatever you want to call it, that floats your boat. I don't really mind. So sweep high, sweep low. And once the market did that, my entry was this return block right here. So you see range, reaction, return. These are the three things. So my entry was this return right here. Immediately the market came into here, I took the trade, which if you calm down, I'm still going to show it to you on my MT5 sniper entry. Now, one thing about me is that whenever I'm trading little accounts, right, I tend to take a whole lot of risk. I call it the alpha system, or the alpha risk system. That doesn't really matter, but I tend to take a lot of risk to maximize the account, because since it's a small account, there's no point in taking all this trade and just end up with peanuts, right? Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advice. This is just me showing you things on the chart that would probably make you 1% better. Okay, so back to the charts. Now that I got my first entry, now that I got my first entry, I was looking for a place. Since this first entry is gonna float to the account in profit, I was looking for an opportunity to take another entry, and I saw my opportunity when the market created this low and then broke structure. And really that happened. I said, okay, cool. That means I can use this return block to take another trade. So this was the second trade. First trade was here, second trade was here. And then I allowed the market to run in profit. Now, immediately the market dropped all this far, it gave what we call an imbalance. And once market gives imbalances, they usually pull back to the last place where there was a whole lot of order, right? So where was the last place an order was executed? Not generally, let me put it this way, the last opposing order. So the last place that an order was executed, which I was also executing, which I executed before, was the last place I took my entry. So that was it. This is not really complicated. So you can see this right here. This was the place I took the third trade, and this was where I really stacked in bigger positions. Why? Because now the first and second trade were already floating in good profit, and those will enable me enter more lot sizing. Okay, remember, don't do this at home because if the market does return to my reaction point, which is the origin of this whole sell, the account is gone. Okay, so don't do this at home. So this was the zone that I used here. This was it right here. This 1-2 block, this was the return block that I used, and the market printed from that area, and it has dropped down, way down. Now I'm still waiting for my target to hit. My target is another 4-hour reaction block, which is on the backpack, but don't worry about that. So let's go into the charts, the execution, so you guys can see for yourself. Here, let's go to 15 minutes so you guys can see the execution. This is the first execution. You can see the first one, this particular execution that I took here, it was out of, I don't know why I did that, but it's not something I normally do. I wait for my type entries to show before I take a trade, but then again I did that. So that was that. This was the main first execution here, and this was the second one like I showed you, and then this was the third one. Here I stacked in more position, and as you can see, the position that I stacked in lot size 8 was on the last part, and I'm floating. I think by the time this trade is done, I should be sitting around 3 to 4k. So that's that. This Chidera trades. Sorry, this is Dera. See you guys on the next one. If you like this kind of content, please do well to follow, comment what you think, ask your questions in the comments. I'm gonna answer. Share this video, repost, and like. One love.